I'm headed in. I'm gonna try to find that bone structure. I haven't found that since that was moved, or since that was changed. So I'm gonna try to find it. I'm not gonna go all the way back in because it'll be dark before I get there. But I am gonna sit down and try to record, and we'll see. I mean, that's kind of weird too. This area is just weird. I've never been in here at night. Not sure I want to be. It's starting to get cold too. It's an old, weird tree, isn't it? I'm not sure I've ever seen that. All right. I'm gonna hike up toward the trail cams and the gifting site, but I'm not going that far. About halfway, maybe. This will get your hackles up. Now the pine cones are wet, so I don't want to hear anybody bitching about, oh, you're crunching too loud. I don't care. It is what it is. You guys try to walk through this crap without making noise. Give you $100. Okay. I'm not hearing anything right now. Not a whisper. Not a bird. Not a squirrel. That's what's so weird. Down by my cabin, you can hear blue jays just screaming. Alright, I gotta hike up there for a ways. There is no stump here, okay? Why is this leaning up against that tree if it fell? There's no stump. And then all these branches ripped down. I remember being in this area. No stump. No stump. How did that get there? Or that one? Alrighty then. This is crazy. Some of these cedars or junipers are just... Alright. See, look at that. You know, it's just, I don't know, strange how they moved the trail cam slow enough not to activate it. Something did, because there were no elk. And elk seemed to be the only thing that have pestered it. Anyway, I've not been in here. This is thick. Anyway. I'll keep going. I'm going to try to get to at least halfway in where I can sit down and just listen and see what we can see what we can hear. Look at this. Nothing in there was after me. I think that's a different one than the one I found before. There's a lot of badgers up in here. Anyway, I'll put you back on here in a bit. That's weird. There is no stump. That's been picked up and thrown or pushed or whatever it is. I've not been on this side. Got crows. I can hear them. Looks like it's been ripped off. Look at that. Could have been an elk though. Some of these trees though, when you can rip a green branch all the way off and put it on the ground, it's not an elk. The tree would have just bent over and ripped. It wouldn't have came off. I don't want to go in too far because I still have to get out of here. And look at that fallen tree. That's a weird old tree, isn't it? It's still green though. Nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. And I know there's been a few of you that think I should look at that. That was a start. I haven't seen that before. That's new. Or maybe I just never passed by it. I know a lot of people want me just to streamline it. It's just the coolest parts and be done, but you know, to me, even walking through here is cool. I mean, I know some people don't think so, but I sure do. Spooky and cool. That's the first sound I've heard tonight. It is dead. Freaking quiet. Man, this makes me nervous. It's almost dark. See, that's an elk. See how it just breaks the small saplings off? That's what an elk will do. Any bigger, it's not going to rip it off. What's that? All right. I mean, there's no branches on that log. It's been ripped. Look at that. I don't know what's going on. Look, that's been pushed over. Need to be looking for tracks. I'll be real honest, I'm a little nervous in here. See, that's an L too. Okay. At least when it's wet, the pine cones don't make as much noise. See, I think that's an elk as well. See how they just rub their horns? They don't usually break that kind of tree off. And when it's broken off, makes me wonder. Like that. Not sure what that is. Maybe nothing. Huh. It's a weird area. I gotta work my way over to that ridge. Hopefully, that'll be a good place. I don't think I've ever been through here. This is the west side of the trail I usually take. I will say one thing. That onyx, I don't know if that's what it's called, but there's some kind of hunting map, topo, thing that has some good overlay. Alright, keep working my way over here. It's pretty good anyway. Tell you what, this is pretty. See, that could be an elk, or it could be something else, but probably an elk. Look at that. That was one of the totems, I think. Look, it's been pushed down. Look at that. Wow. That one's been completely pulled off. That's weird. I think, I'm almost positive that was one. See, that branch isn't the same color. That one either. Right. Okay. Told you I was gonna do this, but not sure it was the smartest thing to do. These trees are so tight. I will say this, last year's pine nut crop was massive, so whatever was here stayed here, I'm sure. They had no reason to move. I mean, you could still pick up pine nuts and eat them. Not many, but you could. That's why there's so many pine cones. Alright. I'm going to try to find a place to sit. See, what's that? Look at that. Trying to be quiet. This is like a really, there's just stuff ripped and torn. That's a green tree. No elk is gonna do that. It would have bent. Look at that. And this log. And then look at that. I don't know if that means anything, but this area is just full of stuff. Trying to get up closer to the top. Never been up through here, so unless that's not it. Something else. Something. Took a step after I did. All right, I'm headed back in. I came up here with the intention of finishing the tongue and groove on the ceiling. And I don't know about you guys, but people have a hard time making commitments and doing things. I mean, I've been up here working on this place more than most of the people that are supposed to be doing it. I mean, I'm paying them to do it. Anyway, I've got to retell this little story that I'm trying to see if I can get it to happen again. I'll tell you in just a sec. Okay. I came up here on Friday, and I was gonna go and try to get all the insulation in the ceiling done and a few other things. And I said, well, maybe I'll run up and try to do a night investigation and see what happens. Well, like at the first part of this video, you'll see, or maybe later, I don't know which way I'm gonna, what order I'm gonna put it in. Anyway, I I get up here, I walk around. I don't go to the site where the stuff is. I'd stayed clear of that. I just went about halfway in and set up on the hill. Anyway, as it started getting dark, I decided, well, this isn't quite so good of a deal, or a good idea, being alone. So I backed out and I went home thinking nothing of it. Not home, but to the cabin. Well, later that night, we did some work, and anyway, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up because I hear brushing against the cabin. I look outside. Now it's a full moon, or close to it, and anyway, and with it being a full moon, you could see like parts of the trees a little bit, but behind them was completely dark. So I look out, and sure enough, there's a pair of eyes looking at me at the height of my shed. And I showed you that, or I will on this video, but 10 feet looking barely up at me, and I'm probably at 15 feet in the upstairs. So anyway, I'm sitting there moving back and forth, trying to see if it's something that I did. You know, if it's a watch, or it's a piece of glass, or if it's something that could be the culprit. Anyway, so I keep going back and forth, and then all of a sudden it blinks, and I start to think, okay, how did that blink? And then I do it again, back and forth, trying to figure out what it was. And at that point, I'm starting to get nervous, and I reach for my phone. It's pitch dark in my cabin, and I'm on an air bed, and my phone's off to the side, so I try to find it. And once I do, I step up, and lo and behold, the eyes are gone. Okay, gone, like they were never there. And so after the blinking and that, I thought, you gotta be kidding me. I must have had a bad dream. Anyway, I kind of let it go. I went back to sleep. Well, about an hour and a half later, I heard the same thing again, and I woke, and it was roughly 3:30. Now what happened is the window that I originally looked out of, where am I at? The window that I originally looked out of was about 15 feet high, and it was on the west side of the cabin. There's a sliding glass door that goes out onto the deck on the southeast side. Okay, so they're completely apart from each other. Completely. And so, anyway, I roll over, and there it is again, coming through a different window with the same two eyes. But what was weird is it was cocked. Its head was cocked. So then I thought, oh, it's got to be something reflecting. So I start looking around and moving stuff, and I go cover up the other window, and it's still there. So I reached to grab my phone. Well, before I did that, it blinked, and then it straightened its head. And I tell no lie. This is fact. And I reached for my phone to grab it and take some footage of it. I just got up and was finding the video, and it takes a step back, turns, and is gone. Now, I'm gonna try. I'm up here. I mean, I didn't even tell my wife about that because she won't come up here. But anyway, it was intense. Although I wasn't super afraid. It was more like, to me it looked like he was curious. Anyway, I didn't see fur, hair, or anything, just a dark outline, but it wasn't even that good because it was behind the tree off to the side. And so he blended into that tree as good as possible. Same with the one over by the shed. Now anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm up here in the evening today, and I'm trying to see if they'll come again. This time I'm going to set my alarm for every, I don't know, hour and a half, and just get up and look. I do know this, and I will say this. It was not a reflection of any kind. Had it been a reflection, the eyes wouldn't have been exactly the same distance in two different spots, yet turned and then straightening and then blinking. So anyway, hopefully I'll come through here, find some stuff, and maybe they'll follow us back, or me back, and show you what I saw. I was so pissed that I didn't get any video of it. I made myself sick, but I wasn't expecting that at all. Anyway, that's it. See, even these kind of things, I mean, they've been moved here. It's the first time I've heard a blue jay in a while. I think that's a blue jay. See, it's weird how these branches are broke in the middle of the tree like that, because most live trees will bend, and you might be able to break them over, but they won't come loose because of the bark. It's still green. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the gifting area, if that's what we call it. I don't know if I like that name, but I'm kind of excited to see what it is. I'm also going to trade out the trail cam, so bear with me. Let's see, there's another one. There's just a lot of, now there is a lot of elk in here. I'm not saying it couldn't be an elk, because it could, but elk can't break it off. They can just ruin it. And my gun's coming off. Listen. Not that. Somebody's walking with me. sure. There's a kind of strange. Huh. It's weird. Anyway. Find that rock. It's got to be here, right here somewhere. There's the rock over there. I'm not really seeing anything. I see a cup on the ground, which isn't where I left them. This ought to be interesting. I should have brought more things and I didn't. So, oh, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Those were both on a tree and they couldn't have came off unless somebody took them off. That can's tipped over. Look, there's still 2 marbles in front of that mirror. That is weird. There was a face over here, remember? And it's gone. It's just flat gone. I don't know. I mean, they could. You know, some crows and stuff could move some of those, I guess, but not that many. And if it was a raven, it would take the ones in front of the mirror. I raised a few ravens, and they would be totally, that would be shiny, and they would love it. Ooh, oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, that tells me right there that this was no raven or any other animal. They're stacked. Ooh. Okay, that kind of freaks me out. Wow. I don't know how many were taken. I don't remember how many I had. I just know we had a face here, and it was up on the side of that hill, a little ways up. That's so cool. All right, I'm gonna. Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna reset these somehow. There's a marble in between that rock right there too. And then I'll show you what it is. I need to bring more things next time. Okay, I put the cups back up in the tree. I think that's a beacon saying, hey, he was back. I don't know, just what I'm thinking anyway. I moved the marbles off this one and I put them right there. And I moved this thing over. I don't know what that is. It's kind of cool, but it's been there for a while. I need to move this. I'm going to leave those 2 marbles there and these on top of that can. And then, that's interesting. Huh. Anyway, I'm just going to put this with a pine cone on it. And I'll bring up a lot more stuff next time. Well, a rock. Pine cone will probably blow off. Okay. Because they might think there's more marbles in that cup, in that little silver cup. So anyway, I think that was cool. Awesome. That's so awesome. But at the same time, it's so freaky. Which means, ooh. I'm sure they're just waiting wherever they are. I'm just as loud as a damn elephant. Listen. Now that I know that they technically could get 10 feet tall or more. Kind of freaks me out. Alright, I'm gonna work my way down to the trail cam. Okay, I can hear. It's not that. Okay. Alright, that trail cam should be here. Right here somewhere. Oh, it's in that tree. Oh, looks like I left something here last time. Oh, look! The bones have been moved. Oh my hell. Okay. Doesn't that look like a set of horns on there? On that piece of wood? That is cool. Well, there's your Sasquatch art right there. I probably couldn't even have come up with that if I had a month. Trying to pick stuff up in the wild and make it look like whatever they killed, I guess. I don't know. That's just really cool. Really cool. And creepy. Alright. I don't know if I should put anything to let them know that I acknowledge it. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what to put. Maybe I'll just, I don't know. I should have kept some of those marbles and put those on it. I will next time. Anyway, I've got to change out this trail cam. Sucker. Blue jay is screaming at me. I gotta look at this one more time. It's starting to get late. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Wow. Alright. The interesting part is going to be able to see if that's that stupid thing I left last time. I'm surprised they didn't pick that up. Oh, there's a little battery in there, that's why. Put that in my pocket. Alright. I'm going to work my way back down to the other trail cam. Now, some people ask me why my videos are so long and why not just forward to the cool parts, you know? And I can understand that. I mean, if you're, you know, you don't have a lot of time. But to me, even just walking through here is neat. Even if nothing happens, you know? So, I'm trying to put only the neat things in, but it kind of keeps falling off. But a lot of this is neat to me, you know? There's another structure over here somewhere that was here before. Let's see if we can find it. This is about the time I start getting a little nervous in here. See, that's... And there was those rocks that were taken last time. Those red ones, the gold ones were left completely alone. I hope you heard that. Sound like a rock. A big movement. that. Oh, you know what? That's actually part of that. Look at that. It's grown that way. I thought that was cool. Can't believe it was natural. There's an elk's massacre. Now I want to go and explore a new area. I truly do. But I really don't have the time. If I keep coming in here, there's going to come a point when I have to. But I feel that we have come a long way in here. Especially with them showing up at my house, at least, in my cabin, at least. I haven't fed them. I was going to bring some jerky and let them have some of that, but of course I forgot it. I'm always in a rush. Drives me insane. I'm not sure where that structure is. It's somewhere around here. I also can't find that other structure that had the bone in it. I don't know where that went or why. So that's why I don't film every little bit, because all you guys would see mostly is me walking. Alright, working my way back out of here, and I keep hearing, wish it would just step out. Maybe not. I've seen a lot of weird things in here. Things that just are strange. Like, well, you've seen it all. All kinds of stuff that's strange. There's something over there. What's that? Uh-huh. You know, those rocks just hopped right up in that crook. One's been ripped down too. Okay, so how did that get there? I mean, I guess a person could do it, but there haven't been any people in here in a long, long time. They would have taken my trail cams and they would have messed with everything else we have. So anyway, I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to bother it. I don't know what it means, if anything. Maybe, I don't know, maybe an elk put it in its mouth and positioned it there. I don't know. So many things out of whack. It's crazy. Okay, I'm headed almost out. I was just going to say, I think during the hunts, these elk just, it's weird. It's weird. These elk just, I think, or not elk, I'm sorry. The Sasquatch seem to retreat. I think they're retreating back. Further away from man. I can still hear something tracking me back there, but only slightly. I'm pretty safe to say I'm sure they venture out at night, almost exclusively. To get a video of them during the hunt in the daytime is probably not reality, but still worth a shot. Most of these hunters up here, that, I mean, I can see why they'd hide. I mean, there's a lot of hunters that'll just shoot. Oh hell, there's a noise, shoot it. You know, they'll come up, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good hunters that are dedicated and do it the right way. But then there's always the oddball that somebody takes that's just up for the drink. They get lit up, start firing off at anything that breathes. Those are the kind you can't stand. And the sad fact of it is, there's quite a few of them. Not up here, but in most areas, that's the case. Up here, it's a draw unit, and so you got to be pretty dedicated to get in, to get a tag in here. But the deer hunt's in here, and it's going on here pretty soon. Well, the bow hunt has already started. Look at that. And the muzzle loader, I think. Probably a badger. Anyway. The horns. You can hear them just ripping trees apart. I'll try to call them back. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you where this eye shine was at. You see that upstairs window? It was standing basically right here. Look how hard this is. There's some impressions, but not a lot. The other thing is my truck was parked fairly close. But then, after that happened, I just tried to think it was the moon on a reflection. And I moved back and forth. And I talked myself into believing, even though it blinked, I started believing that it didn't happen. So I rolled over, and you see that sliding glass door? I'm looking straight out towards this way. And that thing was at tree level, right there. Standing right here. Right here looking in that window, but way higher than I am. I was barely looking down on his eyes, and he blinked, and he actually turned his head, cocked it, like he was wondering what I was doing. Anyway, I reached for the camera, and I turned. He turned sideways and vanished into behind that tree and gone. And I've looked for tracks, and this ground after a rain is so hard, you couldn't even get a print off a backhoe in here. I think that's why they thrive in this area, because nobody could track them.